All right, y'all. Welcome everyone to our third application workshop. My name is Joshua Anzaldua. I am the Associate Director for the Joint Admission Medical Program. Today, we have a very special workshop as we're being hosted by Texas A&M San Antonio. They graciously lent us a room here, a classroom where we also have an in-person audience. So as we go through the workshop, we'll be answering questions from both our online participants as well as our in-person. So I'm happy to be here. I'm very happy that you all are spending an hour of your time with me today. But let's go ahead and get started. Just a word before we begin. This workshop is not going to gravitate towards an information session or answering questions about eligibility or the benefits of being a part of JAMP. We're going to focus more largely on student questions, questions directly from y'all, questions we pulled from the registration, forms that y'all filled out, y'all completed, as well as questions that we've been asked on our JAMP fall tour. And of course, questions that have we received over the phone, through emails, all that good stuff. So we're going to go ahead and advance to the next slide. All right, so speaking of the JAMP fall tour, I do want to talk a little bit about what JAMP has been up to the past 2.5 weeks. We've been visiting schools across the state of Texas. Y'all may have seen our post on social media. If you're not following us already, I highly encourage you to follow us to see all the exciting photos we took. But this tour, we toured several schools, over a dozen schools across the state, and we got to meet with students, applicants. We got to meet with current JAMP students, as well as our JAMP faculty directors. I'll talk a little bit more about their role later on. But yeah, go ahead and follow us if you haven't yet. It was definitely a great time. All right, so like I said, this is our third application workshop. So the first one was actually that one had a little introduction of what JAMP is. We did discuss the benefits, and we were also able to answer student questions. But the last one, and as well as this one, are more student-centered. Like I said, we took coursework, or not, I'm sorry, coursework. We took questions directly from y'all, and we're addressing them throughout these workshops. So, but if you want to visit the first workshop, it's on YouTube, and it's available for y'all. So for our in-person group as well, you're welcome to maybe take a screenshot of this. I also sent the PowerPoint to your JFD here at Texas A&M San Antonio. So go ahead, and reach out if you want a copy of this presentation. Okay. Also, I do want to add, in the first workshop and the second workshop, we did discuss items such as, JAMP benefits. We talked about application materials, deadlines, timelines, the role of the JFD or your JAMP faculty director, as well as questions about the application itself. So about personal biography section, the essays, supporting documents, as well as what to expect after submitting the application. So you definitely want to check out the YouTube link, as well as we're going to upload the last meeting soon. So that'll also be available on YouTube as well. So before we start, for our Zoom online Zoomers, as well as our in-person participants, if y'all want to go ahead and scan this QR code, this is a special code, right? This will take you to a list of a running list of resources that any JAMPer, anyone wants to know more about JAMP can access, as well as current applicants. So if you're a current applicant, this is definitely a list that you want to bookmark or favorite on your web browser, so you can revisit. There's items in there that I also created. One is Mr. A's essay tips. So it kind of captures everything that I said about the essays from the first workshop, and I just typed them all up and put them. I made a sheet for that. So if you want to visit that, you're welcome to. This QR code will pop up as we continue through the workshop. So if you missed this one, no worries, it'll pop up again. Okay, so as we continue, I do want to mention the current timeline and deadline of the JAMP application. So right now we're nearing the end of the application cycle for entry year 2023. And we're very excited. It's very, very busy back at the office, but we are so happy to see everyone applying and to, begin reviewing everyone's application. But for everyone who this may be their first workshop, I will kind of, unpack what the application cycle looks like. So in May of this year, May of every year, the application opens. So it opens in May and it stays open until usually October 1st, but October 1st this year was kind of tricky. So we had to move it to the Friday. So it was September 30th. So that means the deadline is next week, right? I do want to pause though. Do y'all know what happens in May every year, besides the JAMP application opening for our Zoomers as well as our in-person? What happens in May that every year? I don't think there's a wrong answer. Yeah, yep. Very important, right? So that's towards the end of the semester. Students are kind of, winding down, as well as, a lot of our professors, all of that. But what else happens in May? Like graduations, right? Celebrations, things like that, family gatherings, those kinds of things, right? So we're very busy. Also finals, right, happen in May as well. So it's important that you're aware of this timeline and when it opens, because you want to reach out to your JAMP faculty director, your JFD, as early as possible, and you want to meet with them regularly, especially if you're preparing to apply for next cycle. So application opens in May, closes in September, or for this year, September. Usually it's October 1st. For to submit any supporting documents, you would need to submit that by October 14th for this year. It's typically the same timeline for each cycle, but we can talk more about the supporting documents as we continue. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm going to exit the PowerPoint because I think my volume is off. Perfect. Thank you guys. Awesome, awesome. So let's move on. So as we continue to get applications, we're getting, the JAMP office is getting a lot of phone calls and emails asking questions about the application, which is fantastic. We're using this data to provide insight on what questions we should address during the application workshops. So I do want to share some updates directly from our JAMP office that we definitely want to share with y'all. So the first is we really want to emphasize that you need to meet with your JFD regularly. For those of y'all maybe freshmen that are applying next year for the next application cycle, definitely reach out to your JFD at your college or university and meet regularly with them. It's very crucial, especially given the timelines and summertime happens and we lose touch with a lot of, not friends as well as our faculty members. So definitely reach out to them early and often. When it comes to uploading documents, you'll definitely want to work with your JFD very closely, as they are a key element in not only completing the application, but uploading any and all supporting documentation. So definitely, like I said, meet with them. We can't stress that enough. We have a lot of questions regarding whether transcripts need to be official. Yes, transcripts need to be official. Whether they are sent electronically or they're in paper envelopes. So you definitely want to make sure that you get your hands on official copies. Also, you'll work with your JFDs to upload those transcripts as well. The JAMP office asks if y'all want to send electronic transcripts. You're welcome to, but they would need to be sent directly from your institution or uploaded from your JFD into the portal. But if you want to send them to us directly, you would just send them to our info@texasjamp email. And that's also on our website, and you'll see it throughout the presentation. Let's see, high school transcripts. We get questions about that as well. Yes, we require high school transcripts. Now, if they want to send electronic transcripts to us, we welcome those as well. You would just provide them the info@texasjamp email. We do require a set of SAT or ACT scores, right? We understand some schools were test optional the past couple of years, but for JAMP purposes, we do require a set of scores. So for those of y'all that are taking the October 1st SAT, the one that's taking place this October, we will accept your scores that you get from that SAT after the October 14th supporting document deadline, right? So scores are expected to be released on the 14th, so that's perfect timing. You would log into your College Board portal, navigate to your score report, download a copy of it, take a screenshot, send it to your JFD, and your JFD will upload it for you. In the meantime, the application is still due on the September 30th. So what do you do now, right? You're probably asking, well, as you work on your application and you submit it, in the SAT section where you have to manually type in your scores, you would type zeros, a zero as a placeholder. So that way when your October 1st scores come in, our JAMP office will be easily identify that you are a student that needs to have their scores updated, and we'll review what your JFD, the score report your JFD uploaded, and it will manually correct them on our end. All right. Do we have any questions so far? Looks like the.
So when I in the JAMP application, and I told my friend that information, that I was asking for not only the English and math, it's also asking for science. And I put the lowest I could put, but the last year, which is when I took it, there was no science. So it was math.
Very good question. The question was, as the student was completing their application, when they took it, there wasn't a science component. I would reach out to info@texasjamp or email me directly. I can give you my card. Email me directly, and I want to make sure I get a good answer for you. We also have a guest with us today. Her name is Jennifer, and I'm gonna pin you so I can find you easily. But she's also here to help answer questions. I don't know, Jennifer, if you had any kind of feedback on that SAT question that the student asked.
What year did you take the SAT?
2020?
I think the score is probably there. It's just it's not going to be. It's kind of hidden in your SAT report because it's not like an actual subject test you took. So it's kind of in a if you want to send a where does this do you attend school there at TAMU SA?
Yes.
Okay. If your JFD wants to upload the score to your application for the SAT, I'll take a look at it and try to find it. Because like I said, it's probably there. It's just hidden. You may not be seeing it.
All right. We'll definitely help you out as best we can. Any other questions about what's on this slide? All right. Let's keep on moving then. All right. So just like we did the last two workshops, we took questions y'all had, especially for those who registered for this specific workshop, and we brought them into the presentation, to the conversation so that we can address them. So we can go ahead and get started. Just 2 slides of questions. So the first question is, what is the best way to log in my internship and volunteer hours? So our response to this is where you place these experience depends on what kind of experience it is, right? So you'll need to discern whether it is academic, non-academic, leadership related, employment related, or research related, and place the experience accordingly. So I would definitely recommend referring to pages 28 and 29 of the JAMP application handbook. It's on the QR code. So if you if you scan a QR code, it'll take you to the list of resources. It'll be there, so it's easily accessible for y'all. But definitely visit pages 28 and 29. Another question from y'all is JAMP still helpful if I want to get into a dental school and potentially or potentially in another state? So this is a very good question. And I think it's the first time we addressed that in the workshop. But our response is the JAMP model is based on assisting Texas students on their pathway toward receiving a medical school education at one of our participating medical schools in Texas. So if your academic or professional path does not involve going to medical school in the state of Texas, JAMP might not be an ideal program for you. So keep that in mind as you continue not only with your education, but with the JAMP app. Another question is, if I took classes that are seen as extracurricular, like band or sports in college, where would I place that information? So my response is to place them in any relevant section. So if you receive college credit for, let's say, mariachi class in college, and the course is listed on your college transcript, you type the course info for sure, right, on your college coursework section, in your academic history section. But let's say, for instance, let's entertain this further. Like, let's say the faculty member that teaches the mariachi course is also the sponsor of the student organization, and you just happen to be part of the mariachi student organization. Well, then yes, like you would also include that information in the appropriate areas, right? So in extracurricular activities, especially if you held a leadership role, you would include it there as well. So keep that in mind as you move forward through the application. Any questions about these questions? These are very good questions, y'all. So thank y'all for asking them.
I have a question.
Hold on 1 second. We have an in-person question, and I'll get to the next question.
Okay.
Thank you. So we don't encourage students who have plans to go to med school out of state, because the JAMP model is based on students who will get accepted into a Texas medical school. So one of the benefits of JAMP is automatic admission into a Texas medical school. That's one of our partner institutions. So, but we can definitely talk afterwards if you want. All right. Who had a question on Zoom?
I had a question.
Yes.
So what if we have, so I understand that we can put one thing under multiple categories, but is there a limit to how many categories? Like, can we put it like one thing under 3 categories, or is there a limit to that?
That's a good question. And my first initial response is you probably can, right? So if you take, for instance, you're involved in a service organization, maybe in high school, or college, right? And you are a leader, right? Let's say you're president of that organization. Well, you definitely want to list that experience under your leadership section. But let's say y'all do community service regularly, or y'all done community service projects that involved non-paid work or whatever that may look like. Well, yeah, you definitely want to include that as well in your volunteer hours, right? Somewhere there. So yeah, I definitely can see that happening. Jennifer, I don't know if you had any other feedback on that question. That's a very good question. No? All right. So yes, definitely you can they can be used in multiple, depending on what your role was and what your experience is. All right, we have another. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, do you think that like it might not be, because we only have 15 spots, so like does that seem kind of like silly to do that though? Like if it was like, let's say like I did have like you said, like I was the president and I also volunteered, and then we also did like clinical, we got like patient care interaction, so it's 3 different things. Would it make more sense to you to put it under one and explain everything that I did in that, just choose one? Or would that be, because I don't know if that looks a little weird to reiterate something 3 times.
That's something you would definitely want to meet with your JFD to discuss. Actually, I think in our handbook there might be an excerpt there that says, to kind of use your best judgment to find the most relevant experiences and highlight them first before other experiences, right, or opportunities. But definitely meet with your JFD. There's no, from our end, we can't say, yeah, totally do that. We can't really say that. So you definitely meet with your JFD, see what advice they have about making your application as competitive as possible, but also picking and choosing which experiences to highlight. So that is a very good question. Again, thank you for asking that. We do have 2 questions that were asked in the chat. The first is, how do I put a planned activity that I have applied for and will be starting after the application is due? This is a good question that we will address. Oh, we can address it now. So to answer this, I would say list the activity, but put your involvement as far out into the future as you can that the application allows you to. I'm not entirely sure if it's October 2022, but if it can get you go any further, then yeah, put out in as far as in the future as possible, and just indicate that it's ongoing. If you want to do that, Jennifer, do you have any suggestions, advice on that?
It won't let you go beyond October 2022 as far as the timeline, but since you said it's going to be something that you're actually starting once the application closes, like Joshua said, you could go ahead and list the activity, and then in the description below, that's where you would put that this is going to be starting in November, and will go on through whatever time period.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Jennifer. You were awesome. All right, thank you for confirming. All right, so another question is, sorry, I'm reading it. Hi, if I'm a permanent resident and uploaded my paperwork into the application, when should I expect it to be verified? Can I submit it without the letter being verified? It's currently showing as pending. That's a good question, and I'm not sure I have the best answer. I don't know, Jennifer, if you have any insight. I can repeat the question. The question is, I'm a permanent resident and I uploaded my paperwork into the application. When should I expect it to be verified? Can I submit it without the letter being verified?
Can you submit the application without that?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, definitely make sure you submit the application by September 30th. Dr. Robles will be reviewing all of the applications that have those documents. And if there is an issue with it, then he will notify you, but you can go ahead and get the application completed. Just make sure you submit that get that done.
Awesome, awesome. You are a rock star, Jennifer. Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. This is the second set of questions we received from everyone that's participating tonight. So the first is, can we ask JAMP personnel to preview our application and give advice on improvements? So our response to that is to, we encourage each and every one of you to reach out to your JFD to get any kind of assistance you need with your JAMP application. If there's a question that you or your JFD aren't really able to figure out, then definitely call us. 100% call us, send us an email as soon as you can. But yeah, we want to get the answers to you as quickly as possible, but definitely reach out to your JFD first, and any kind of communications you share with us as well, you definitely want to CC your JFD and especially email communications. All right, the next question is it okay to put information from high school on the application? For instance, awards, volunteer hours, leadership experience, all the good stuff from high school. Yes, we want that. We want to see experiences as dating as far back as your freshman year of high school. So make sure to include anything as much as you can from then. Include them on your application. Yes, we want that for sure. The last question for this slide is, do I enter classes that I'm taking this fall 2022 semester? Yes. Enter all college coursework, including that's on your college transcripts, including courses you're currently enrolled in. Jennifer, is there any kind of advice you have for this?
Sorry, yeah, since you won't have grades yet, you'll just list them all as NY where the grade would go. And then once the applications are all reviewed, we'll request fall transcripts from the JFDs, and then we'll update your grades to the application.
Excellent, excellent. You are on fire tonight. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Do y'all have any questions about anything on this slide? Because after we're going to open it up to just general questions from our Zoom community as well as our in-person community as well. Any questions about this slide? Yeah, did you have a question? Oh, good question. The question was, can I add information from high school that is not from the United States? So if so, let's say you're involved like community work or extracurricular in another country. That's a good question. I don't want to answer this, but I think the answer is yes. All right, yes, the answer is yes. We want to know as much as we can about you. When I say we, I mean our JAMP council. Our in case y'all don't know, our JAMP council is our governing body. They're the ones that review all of our JAMP applications and are the ones that make the decisions. So yes, they want to know as much as they can about each student, as they do take a holistic approach to admissions. All right, and now is the fun part. We'll open it up to our in-person group. As well as our Zoom community. If you have any questions about the application, we are happy to answer them. No pressure, no pressure. So the question was for our Zoomers, I still haven't taken Chem 1 and Chem 2. Can I still apply? So JAMP requires students to complete Chemistry 1 and Chemistry 2 with the grade with the labs with a grade of C or higher by the time you submit your application. So for instance, if you're a freshman and you're not enrolled in Chemistry 1 this fall semester, but you're interested in applying for JAMP, you would want to make sure that you complete Chem 1 and Chem 2 maybe in the spring and summer. And that way, as you start your sophomore year, you'll work with the JFD and then you'll have those courses completed and you can complete your application then. Yes, we have another question.
So it's early college high school. They've already completed 27 college credits. They just started on campus this fall. Are they still able to qualify for the JAMP program, take their chemistries, and then apply for the JAMP next fall?
That's a very good question. So the question was from our in-person group, if a student went to an early college high school and completed 27 hours of college credit, all within their senior year or across their, because I can. Sure. So we're doing with both scenarios, right? So if a student has completed 27 hours, let's say first scenario, within their senior year of high school, 27 hours, and they took Chemistry 1, Chemistry 2, just as if you were applying as a regular JAMP applicant, they could have the opportunity to apply for the early track. But you still need to meet the same requirements, right? GPA requirements, coursework, all of that. We don't have very many of those applications this year, but if a student were to have taken 27 hours just across high school, right, and they come in and they are starting college the first semester after they graduated high school. So let's say you graduated in May and you're starting college that August. Yes, you can apply 27 hours. The 27 hours will count towards the requirements, but you also need to make sure you meet all the other requirements, right? And if you go back to the link that I shared earlier, we'll kind of talk about that. We also have videos on our YouTube page that unpacks the requirements, eligibility requirements, as well as our website and that QR code that we shared earlier. But yes, you would need to meet the GPA requirements, as well as like the chemistry requirements as well, all of that. So did I answer the whole question? Yes. Yes. Oh, good question.
I was early college high school, but technically my college credits are through whatever other university, but for the first time here, they haven't actually got a college student before.
Yes.
That's the neat part.
Yes, the language can be kind of confusing, But what we mean when we say your freshman year is your first full year, first semester at the institution that you're attending, right? So for instance, students at Texas A&M San Antonio, if this is their first semester after graduating high school this past spring, that is what we look at. You know, although technically you may have enough hours to be considered a sophomore, but when we say freshman, this is what we're talking about, you know, especially when we look at timeline. All right. Yes.
Are there any other required classes? Because I saw that after you submit your application, you also want to see that you have organic chemistry 1 and 2. I guess if they accept you for like their internship.
Yes, very good question. So this is something that you would want to explore after being admitted into the program. Jennifer, are you able to share any insight on the course sequence for OChem? They would need to be enrolled in that fall semester that after they've been admitted, correct? In OChem?
So for the students who are applying right now, we would like to have them enrolled in OChem this coming up fall. I mean, yeah, let's see. They would need to be in OChem. They already need to have their general chemistries completed. They need to be in OChem 1 this fall. Then be in OChem 2 next spring, because they need to have their OChems completed by the time they attend the first summer program.
Okay. Yes.
For clarification, so this semester we're supposed to have organic.
Jennifer, can we clarify? So let's say a student is a freshman right now, this is their first year, they take Chem 1, Chem 2, and then at the very beginning of their sophomore year, they submit their application, which happens to be, let's say from now, fall 2023. So they would need to be enrolled in OChem at that time, correct?
So for students who are just now at their first semester at TAMU SA right now, this
Yes.
is their first fall semester. So they would be enrolled in Gen Chem 1 now. They would take Gen Chem 2 spring 2024. That's when our application opens. And then
Mhm.
they would apply. And then next fall of 2024, they would be enrolled in OChem 1.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
You are amazing. All right, y'all are asking some fire questions today.
So they have to be enrolled at the time, but not have completed for that next one.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
100%.
All right.
Any other questions from our Zoom crowd or our in-person group? Wow, this is an easy workshop. All right, Andres, you have a question? You're welcome to turn your mic on. I hope you have mic privileges. Oh yeah, you should. Okay, go for it. Let's see. Andres, I don't know if you're speaking, but you're welcome to ask your question. I don't think we can hear you. Maybe some mic issues. We still can't hear you, Andres. I don't know if you're asking a question, but feel free to call us or email us or meet your JAMP faculty director, right? Reach out to them if y'all need some help brainstorming or figuring out any kind of challenge that you're experiencing. Definitely call us. Call us, send us an email, send a message or pigeon, whatever you need to do. We want to make sure to get you that information as soon as possible. Sorry, your mic wasn't working or the audio wasn't coming through. Any other questions from in-person or Zoom?
For letters of evaluation to be considered like supporting documents that could go through October 14th, or do they need to be submitted with your initial semester on September 30th?
Excellent question. Excellent question. So the question was, are the letters of evaluation considered supporting documents? And if so, when would we submit them? Would they need to be submitted by the September 30th deadline, application deadline, or the October 14th supporting documents deadline? The answer to that is it is considered a supporting document. So your JFD letter as well as your faculty letter will need to be submitted by the October 14th October 14th supporting document deadline. I keep wanting to say supplemental, but it's not supplemental, it's supporting document. So, very good question. Thank you for asking. Any other questions? And just so everyone knows, these sessions will be available on YouTube. So if you miss, if you missed asking a question, or if you think of something after, well, if you think of something after, call us, right? Reach out to JFD. But if you miss any part of this session, or if you have a friend that is interested that could benefit from these sessions, they'll be available on YouTube. Our first workshop is already there. Just go to the Texas Health Education Service channel on YouTube, and then our video is one of the first videos available. Okay, I mean, any other questions, y'all? Because if not,
Hello?
yes, Andres, is this you?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Awesome, awesome. We can hear you now.
Okay, sorry, I just had a quick question. So, as an early admissions track applicant, I just wanted to ask which science courses would JAMP recommend that I take my second semester in college?
First of all, have you already completed chemistry one? Before I answer this, have you met with your JFD yet?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And what did, I guess, what was their advice?
Well, I haven't asked them this specific question yet, but I just wanted to know how I should plan out my schedule for my second year.
That's definitely an advising question. So you'll definitely want to meet with your JFD. But what we can say is, what we can ask you is, have you already completed chemistry 1 and chemistry 2?
Yes.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, Jennifer, if you want to add anything, this student is an early track applicant. They've already completed Chem 1, Chem 2. They are their first full year at their institution. I'm assuming you're currently enrolled in. Okay, well, I'll let Jennifer kind of take over. And if anything, Andres, if you need a follow-up, just call us.
Okay.
Yeah, please just give us a call at the office so I can kind of get a better idea of what you've already taken and what you're enrolled in now, and also where you attend school.
Okay.
Very important questions and a great approach. Sorry, all the sun's shining bright. So, do we have any other questions from our Zoomers or our in-person attendees? Yes.
Is it better to submit it all through your JAMP advisor, or is it okay to submit like some through your email, like to y'all, or and then also some through your JAMP advisor, or is it just best like all in one like general area, like all through email or all through your JAMP advisor?
Good question. So the question from one of our in-person students was asked is, should we submit all of our supplemental documents through our JFD, or could we do some ourselves? My response to that is that your JFD is a primary contact and advocate to get all of those items submitted through the portal, through the JAMP application portal. But there are some items that you can send directly to us, right? So transcripts, for instance, if your school sends digital transcripts, it gets to us quickly. You would send it to info@texasjamp.org to our email there. So high school and college transcripts. What else? Jennifer, are there any other supporting docs that students can?
There we go. Sorry, I'm sorry, I couldn't. So we generally ask the students to meet with their JFD, because at the JFD can upload all the documents to your application. And so if you can work with them to get all the supporting documents to them and then they can upload it, that's ideal. But some JFDs, if they don't feel comfortable uploading the documents, or they want the students to go ahead and gather them on their own, then yes, you can have everything. You can have all of it mailed to our office. I mean, you could, like physically in an envelope, or you can have it sent electronically. A lot of things that are sent electronically now. The FAFSAs can also be sent to info@texasjamp.org if you log in and you upload those. But we really encourage you to meet with the JFDs and have them upload them to your application if at all possible.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you for asking the question. Speaking of FAFSA, we've had questions about how do we upload, or how do we download a copy of our what we call a student aid report. That's what we need as a supporting document. There are guidelines that you can follow actually on the QR code. Let me go back to the QR code in case y'all missed it, but there should be a link there that shows you how to download or how to save a copy of your student aid report. You'll log into your FAFSA studentaid.gov and log in using your FSA ID and your password. Navigate to your the FAFSA applications that you need to access. At the top right, after you open it, at the top right, there's going to be a print FAFSA. And so you'll click that and it'll take you to a printable version of your student aid report. So you'll just, download that, and then, yeah, you would send that to us. Yeah, and it's pretty simple. We tested it earlier today. That's a pretty easy process.
Oh, but if we were to send it through the email, will they get a confirmation email that y'all received it?
Good question. Y'all asking amazing questions. So the question is, if we do send supporting documents through email, will there be any kind of confirmation from the JAMP side that certain documents were received? For instance, their student aid report or the FAFSA.
Yes, you can go. You'll be able to see it in your application. You'll see where it would say pending, then it would say uploaded and approved. So that would be your confirmation that we received the supporting documents. Because as soon as we receive them, we're really good about uploading them immediately to the application.
Excellent. Yes, our team is amazing. So they do some good stuff behind the scenes. Thank you, Jennifer, for that. I appreciate you. Any other questions, y'all? I don't see any activity in the chat, which is good. Any questions from y'all? Or in person? Jaguars, right? Jaguars. Okay, well, I mean, if y'all don't have any other questions, two things. You can definitely reach out to us, right? Reach out to your JFD first. If y'all need help from there, call us, email us. The application is deadline for entry of 2023 is next week. So you definitely want to make sure to knock that out as soon as possible. Reminder, supporting documents deadline is October 14th. If you are taking the October 1st SAT, we'll accept your score report after the supporting documents deadline. So, but get it to us as soon as possible. All right, y'all. Well, I mean, this is a real quick application workshop. Again, any questions, call us. We are happy to help. All right, well, I guess I'll stop the recording. Thank y'all for sticking around and hearing me talk. I'm happy y'all are here, and I wish everyone the best of luck on their application. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you for attending. Thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, A&M San Antonio, for your support tonight. All right, bye, everyone.
Thank you.